Yeah. And now we have a list of speakers to inspirit us with Toastmasters understanding. So please welcome our chair, Anya, to introduce our speakers today. Anya.
Thank you. First up, we have our district growth director, Bram Memon, give us a speech about what Toastmasters is all about. And Bram is a personal coach as well as the district growth director and is very, very active Toastmaster and has been with Toastmaster for over 20 years. So please help me in welcoming Bram Memon.
Thank you, Madam Chair, fellow Toastmasters, welcome guests, and distinguished Toastmasters as well. What is Toastmasters? Well, I think I know a thing or two after 25 years in Toastmasters as to what we do here, or why would an entrepreneur, especially in spirit, would want to join a group like this. We all know, of course, some of us or most of us, and those of you who've come here as a guest, if you come here as a guest, is that Toastmasters says communication and leadership program. It's an education program where leaders are made. Now, what does that mean for an entrepreneur, however? Well, you know, I've been an entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur for 28 years. I've been in Toastmasters for 25 years, and I continue being a member. One of the things is taking a deep thought about all this is that I've learned how to communicate very well. Now, let me explain to you. I am an extreme introvert, an extreme, like, you know, if somebody was to tell me to rate myself from 1 to 10, and 10 is the maximum and 1 is the least introvert, I would rate myself as 100. Believe it or not, that's what I would do. I am an extreme introvert. But now that I'm called to speak right now, and I just got the notice a couple of days ago because the speaker who's going to be speaking here had to go for an interview and I replaced her. And as an introvert, I would be hiding under a stone, but I'm not. And I'm able to communicate effectively, almost on the cuff. Let me say it this way. And the reason being that Toastmasters has helped me hone in that skill. Let me just put a slide behind me to tell you exactly what I've learned in Toastmasters. And if you put it on, if you pin or put it on speaker view, you'll see behind me, it says, I've learned how to articulate my thoughts and ideas into a message, into a presentation that makes an impact, that amplifies my impact, that amplifies who I am because of Toastmasters. I'm able to inspire, influence, inform, persuade, have people take action where necessary, negotiate, persuade. Now, some of those skills, I bet, are very relevant to a Toastmaster, right? Would you agree? That if you were able to persuade or influence somebody, I mean, you will want to sell yourself all the time. You're always selling yourself as an entrepreneur. So that's a skill that is highly valued in Toastmasters as well. Leadership. Now, what do I mean by leadership is, of course, you are a leader in your industry, you are an entrepreneur and so on, but it sort of gives you that ability to speak with conviction and confidence when you're in Toastmasters and come across as that you know your stuff as an entrepreneur in your niche, in your industry. And when you speak, people will listen. And that is what I mean by leadership, is you are heard and you are able to hear others as well. You listen intently, you're able to understand, and you're able to respond. And sometimes off the cuff, which means we have table topics in Toastmasters, and I believe we will have a session of table topics today. And as an entrepreneur, especially as an entrepreneur, you always need to be able to speak off the cuff. And this is at Toastmasters where I've learned, I really have honed in on speaking off the cuff. As well, there's a program, a Pathways program in the Toastmasters education program. And there's over 300 competencies embedded in there, and you choose which competencies that you want to hone in on and polish and take it to the next level and the next and the next level, and become that leader in your industry, in your niche, with all those competencies that you have. So that, again, if you look behind me, to be able to inspire, to be in spirit, to inspire, to influence, to inform, motivate, and of course, most of all, to persuade and negotiate and to make that sell. That is very, very useful in a Toastmasters organization where you learn as an entrepreneur all those skills. And that is why I'm in Toastmasters, even after 25 years, because if I don't, I will be back. I would not be able to speak as I am able to now, because I'm a high extreme introvert, and that helps me keep me on my toes all the time. Back to you, Madam Chair.
And to introduce our second speaker today, please welcome our chair, Anya.
Thank you very much. And that was an amazing speech, Bram. Thank you very much. And who would ever know that you're an introvert? That is amazing. Next, we have our district director, Werner Barth, and she's been a Toastmaster since 2008 and has attained her DTM in 2016. She's currently the district director for District 86. Her mantra has always been, "How may I serve you?" which has been reflected in the service to our clubs, area divisions, district. Please help me welcome Werner Barth. And her speech for today is, "We all started here." Werner Barth, we all started here. You're muted, Werner.
That works better. Picture this: your hand on the doorknob, second guessing your reason for being there, trying to summon up the courage to take that first step. Believe me, we all started here. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. When you push open that door with determination and enter the world of Toastmasters, your life will change for the better. Let me share a little of my personal experience with Toastmasters. Everyone has a reason for joining Toastmasters. Mine was to be able to deliver a speech at my upcoming wedding. We were fortunate that our corporation recognized the values of the Toastmasters communication and leadership programs. And after just one meeting, I was intrigued. No, I was captivated. No, I was hooked. In addition to my corporate club, I joined 2 community clubs so I could squeeze everything I could out of Toastmasters. Over the years, I've met remarkable people who encouraged and supported me in club and district leadership roles. I've had the privilege of serving as an area and division director, a conference chair, an audit chair, a district admin manager, alignment chair, program quality director, and now serve the members of District 86 as district director. Toastmasters has given me a solid foundation of skills and knowledge, which I have used to be a successful Toastmaster. Toastmasters International has a nonprofit educational program organization that teaches public speaking and leadership skills through a worldwide network of clubs. Headquartered in Englewood, Colorado, the organization's membership exceeds 364,000 in more than 16,200 clubs and in 145 countries. And since 1924, when Ralph Smedley started the organization, Toastmasters International has helped people from diverse backgrounds become more confident speakers, communicators, and leaders. Now let's talk about what Toastmasters can do for you. Toastmasters is the most efficient, supportive, enjoyable, and affordable way of gaining great communication skills. It will give you the skills and the confidence you need to effectively express yourself in all situations. In a Toastmasters club, you will find like-minded people who are working hard to build similar skills as you. By giving speeches and working through the Pathways educational program, you will learn how to structure your speeches and incorporate tone and body language to truly engage with your audience. Pathways helps you learn communication and leadership skills that you need to succeed. It gives you the opportunity to build up to 300 unique competencies, 11 specialized learning paths to choose from, online content so that you can learn anytime, anywhere, and at your own pace, and real-world transferable skills. Toastmasters come from all walks of life. Over time, attending meetings will allow you to build social connections and network with others that you may not have had the opportunity to meet otherwise. Since Toastmasters clubs are run by members, each club offers volunteer leadership positions. And when you combine this with the leadership skills you can acquire through the Pathways learning experience, you can not only build skills, but can gain valuable experience leading a team. By improving your communications, public speaking, and leadership skills, you are building a better version of yourself. Whether you are hoping to land that big promotion or simply want to feel more confident when communicating with your peers, Toastmasters can help teach the skills you need. Remember, we all started here, one hand on the doorknob, standing on the threshold of what could prove to be the best experience you will ever have. Let me be the first to say, come in, welcome to Toastmasters. We've been waiting for you. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Myrna, for that inspiriting speech. What can Toastmasters do for me? Our team so far has given us much to think about and reflect on. So thank you very much to our two speakers so far this morning. And to introduce our third speaker is our chair, Anya. Please welcome Anya.
Thank you. Wonderful speech, Myrna. Thank you so much for sharing with us. Our next speaker is Doreen Hillier. She's a resilient businesswoman who has overcome many obstacles to get where she is today. She's been a Toastmaster for 26 years and led District 86 with 4,500 members to distinguished status. You will hear more about when she presents her inspiring speech on transformation for growth. So with that, let me introduce Doreen Hillier, Transformation for Growth, Doreen Hillier.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I stood at a lectern in 1995, grasping onto the lectern with my knees shaking as I gave my icebreaker speech. I read every word of that 4 to 6 minutes, including my name. Hello, my name is Doreen Hillier, and I thought I should at least know who I am. To go from being a shy person to being encouraged by the way that I have been through my Toastmasters journey, to taking on the various leadership roles within the club, within the area, within the district. That's what caused me to have the confidence to grow and to deal with obstacles that I've had to overcome. I led people within my corporation in a tax accounting firm, which I closed 3-4 years ago, and now took TFG from tax and financial guidance to transformation for growth. In that transformation for growth, I studied and became a licensed minister. I studied and became a chaplain and worked as a chief comfort officer at an hospital. I've worked at 3 hospitals. I've just recently written a chapter in a book called Unstoppable. There was a time before this COVID outbreak thing that happened this past couple of years when I used to joke and say, nothing and nothing short of death will stop me. It's not as funny as it used to sound at that time, but now, after having dealt with death of family members, studying and being able to concentrate and being able to have prayer to help me get through some of the toughest times of my life. My Toastmasters family, my Toastmasters friends have been there to support me, to encourage me, and to keep me going. They are who Toastmasters core values teaches us about. They are the ones who are excellent because it's their core value as a person. No, none of us are perfect. We're all still on this learning journey. And we will continue to be on this learning journey as long as we choose to be. But with an open mind, there's nothing that you cannot do. With a broken ankle and leg, I climbed up a mountain in El Salvador with the help of others. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? There's nothing that we can't do. You know why? Because we have the confidence, we have the encouragement. And when we're feeling down, there's always somebody there to assist, to uplift, to give us that encouragement to just, come on, you can do it. You can do it. And the day that I was writing my exam for chaplaincy on December the 30th, I was dealing with grieving for my sister who passed on December the 6th. And that morning, before I started writing the exam, I'm like, I'm going to call them and tell them to postpone. I can't do this. I'm not going to be able to retain what I've learned. I'm too absorbed within grieving. I can't do it. But the spirit inside of me, the spirit that Toastmasters has helped me to understand, is that you can do it. Take a moment, take a deep breath, focus and concentrate. You can do the job in front of you. Little did I know, though, when I did graduate and they gave me the certificate, and some of my Toastmasters friends actually even joined in that graduation. And Teresa, thank you. And Pastor Kuntz, when he announced that I was top of the class, I had no idea. I knew I needed to get 70 to pass, but I didn't know I was getting a 97.6. He shocked me because I knew that I guessed at least at 3 answers for sure. I'm getting a little bit of emotional. And the reason is when I caught that Toastmasters bug from reading my name to leading the district, to having friends and supporters around the world. And I say that because in 2015, I was one of 17 of 352,000 members that received the International Presidential Citation Award for upholding the core values of Toastmasters International. I thank God for Dr. Smedley and his encouragement. I thank God for the Toastmasters organization and all the people that I can call friends across this world. Anyone who wants to become a Toastmaster, believe me, you will have a lot of people assisting you, helping you, encouraging you to be the best version of yourself. You won't ever have to doubt, because when you do, reach out. Somebody will be there to hold your hand. I promise you that. And I would like to thank each one of you this morning for giving me this privilege of being able to share my journey with you. Back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Doreen, for that very inspiring speech on transformation for growth and giving us the key points of our learning journey. And congratulations again on those top marks. We were all of us that were there, Nancy, Brom, we were all excited when we saw, oh, and she had top marks. So wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, Toastmasters and guests, we have had some speakers this morning that have shown us who resilient leaders really are. And I thank them again. So thank you very much, speakers. Now you are in for a treat. Our Toastmaster, Dan Ganger, our Table Topics Master, Dan Ganger, is honestly an expert at table topics. I love it when he does table topics at Speed River. So please welcome Dan Ganger.
Good morning, everyone. You're probably wondering, what's the picture behind me? Of course, you know, my wife and I, we love cruising. And, you know, growing up with history, the Titanic, remember the Titanic, that big, huge ship? Well, the Titanic is in that picture. To the right-hand side is a Titanic. To the left is a regular Royal Caribbean cruise ship that we see every day, that people have been on it. Look at the difference. You know, I've seen pictures of that Titanic, like, wow, look at that monster ship. Not that big compared to what we have today. Today, it's like floating cities. So that's why I put it, I said, that should be some kind of a inspirited to us that look what we can accomplish, and they have accomplished. Well, today, for Table Topics, based on inspired to be inspired. Simplest ways to inspire people and change their lives. Has anyone ever inspired you to change your life in a significant way that made you healthier, happier, or more fulfilled? If so, you understand the difference that positive inspiration can make in a person's life. Inspiration is powerful, but it isn't easy. Would you like to return the favor by making a positive difference in the life of your friends, family, or co-workers? Well, I have a list of 10 different ways, and I'm going to ask for volunteers. Please tell us about your experience in any of these ways of inspiration. So it's between 1 and 10, and do we have any volunteers? I see you, Nancy. Between 1 and 10.
Number 1, please.
Number 1, it's care. Small act of kindness. Tell us about your experience.
Mr. Table Topics Master, that's actually quite easy because I will bring it back to what Doreen was saying and what Brom was saying and what Myrna was saying, because I'm also one of those introverts that I'm actually kind of comfortable with this lockdown. I'm loving it. And Doreen can attest to this because she was a member of Cambridge Toastmasters when I first arrived as a guest. I actually brought a book with me. That was what I did back then. Well, I kind of still want to actually, but I used to go everywhere with the book because just in case I'd have to talk to people, and then I could pretend, well, I wouldn't even have to pretend, I'd be reading. I showed up to Toastmasters, not for myself, but for my friend. And I ended up joining. And why I joined is because I looked around and I saw the care that I was receiving, those acts of kindness, people reaching out to me, not being dissuaded by my physical book, my barrier. And I was also inspired by the members and how they all told me about their challenges and how they rose and pushed past those barriers, those self-imposed barriers. And I was also inspired. I met somebody through Toastmasters and he has inspired me to become a better person. He's really helped me push past that introversion state and has made me realize the importance of reaching out to others and showcasing my care and kindness towards them, because it always comes back in return, because I was afraid of people. So, Mr. Table Topics Master, I believe that as much as everyone shows care in the whole wide world, in our Toastmasters clubs, that is, as Brom put it, over 100% over the top. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Nancy. Really appreciate that. That was great. Do we have another volunteer at this time? Yes, Gayatri. Would you choose between 1 and 10?
3.
Number 3, your experience about earning trust. Earning trust.
I never had fear of public speaking. What I feared most was leadership. When I joined Toastmasters, the 3rd month, I was offered to be a club officer. In my head, I knew I couldn't do it. But everybody around me said, hey, don't worry. So what if you make mistakes? I said, no, it's not about making mistakes. What if I make a fool of myself? And that's when one of my mentors said, perfect. Make a fool of yourself here, because here nobody is going to judge you. They're going to help you become a better person. And I became the VP PR. And just the following term, I was called to an advanced club and I was asked to become a VP education. I had seen what VP education does, and I did not want to take it because I knew I was not good enough for that. But the then president said, here is the problem, Gayatri. Even though you are VP education, you will also be acting president because I won't be around much. In my head, now I have to be VP education and president. From not being a leader to you are asking me like taking on everything. And it would help to have a program quality director as a member, past district director as a member of your club, 5 division officers as member of your club. And I am now the president this term. From not being able to even manage myself, arrive at a stage wherein my entire team is helping me become a better leader. They are letting me make my mistakes. They are letting me fall down and they are helping me get back up. Toastmasters is that safe place for me where I could fall down and stand up again and again and again. Mr. Table Topics Master.
Wonderful story. Thank you so much for you to earn the trust with everybody there. That's fantastic. Wonderful. Do we have another volunteer at this time? Yes, Anne. If you can choose between 1 and 10, actually 2, 4 to
I'll take
10.
4, please.
Number 4 is build up people. Tell us about your experience about building up people.
Thank you so much, Mr. Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters, and most honored guests. What a privilege to be here. And what a way to build up people. Just right here in this platform. We are all inspirited in many ways because we want to try to be better people for ourselves. And this is the way to do it. We belong, I'm sure most of us belong to more than one club in this group right here. And what has happened here is you're spreading your wealth of knowledge to many people. And that to me is the growing experience. And how do you build up anybody else by being nothing but the example of a true Toastmaster? All of us has gained something. Every one of us here has a story to tell. And each one of us will have stories where they're good. And I can guarantee you, you have some that are not so good. But to be that example of how to move forward, even in spite of conflicts and difficulties, this is the place to do it. I encourage every one of us to be each other's lift and build to get to be a better person. I know most of you right here on this screen, and I know how much each one of you have grown. And I tell you, I know how much I have grown. So to see people grow, there's nothing more impressive and inspiriting than that in itself. So I challenge every one of you to be that example for fellow Toastmasters. Back to you, Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thank you so much, Anne. Really appreciate that. Wonderful. All right, do we have another volunteer at this time? Oh, Lisa, between 2 and 5 and up. Pick a number.
Please. 8.
I'm sorry? 8.
8.
Stay cool and calm. Your experience with that.
Oh, thank you, Table Topics Master and fellow Toastmasters. Staying cool and calm. Heavens. When first starting at Toastmasters, sitting in the audience and being called on by a Table Topics Master, I was not cool. I was not calm. And I made a lot of mistakes. And I realized also that when I made my mistakes, people would be smiling and clapping and cheering me on and lifting me up. And I realized that perhaps I could be cool and calm because I was in the right environment. I am not a cool and calm person amongst a lot of people. I am an introvert also. I too enjoy being at home without a lot of people. But being a Toastmasters allows me to come out of my shell just a little bit more, and allows me to stay cool and calm because I am in a very warm, welcoming, inspiring environment that I can be myself a little bit more. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lisa. It's amazing when you say that. I think I'm an introvert as well. And you can probably ask my wife the question. She says, you're in Toastmasters, and here I am to overcome that introvertness, I tell you. Well, we're looking for another volunteer at this time. Do we have anyone? Okay, Tony, you're up. Between number 2 and 6 to 10.
Oh, I like 6.
6. Be an active listener.
It was just yesterday I was talking to a manager of a client of mine, and his name is Jim. And Jim is struggling. I said, Jim, the one thing you have to do, really have to do, is to listen to what the boss wants. Not to do as he says, and then do what you want. No. Make sure you find out what he really, really wants. Because in business, you have to follow the rules of the person who signs your check. And then Jim was asking some questions. Well, I'm having troubles with that. I sometimes just don't get it, what he wants. Well, Jim, ask, drill down to what he wants, just like a speaker has to deliver to the audience what they want. We have to understand that as well on a bigger picture. But it starts off one-on-one. Start off with the individuals and work that way with them. Are you listening to what is needed? And if you don't, make sure you do so you understand. Now, of course, in the case of employment, if you want to stay employed, you have to listen. But I believe in life, if we wish to achieve other levels of success besides money, happiness, content. Listen to what's happening. Listen to what our body speaks. Listen to what others say. Yeah. Listen to common sense. But listen, listen, listen. Thank you, Table Topics Master.
Thank you so much, Tony. Really appreciated that. Excellent. Do we have another volunteer at this time?
I will.
Okay. Who's Cheryl?
Cheryl. Yes.
Cheryl.
Yes.
Okay. So you have a choice of number 2, 5, 7, 9, and 10.
How about lucky number 7?
Number 7, treat everyone equally. Treat everyone equally.
Thank you very much, Mr. Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guests. Treating everybody equally. It's very important these days as we're hearing a lot of be kind, be gentle, be patient with everyone in society. Yes, we're stuck here in our own little introverted world, but at some point we do have to go out, and those people have had to work with all the general population throughout these tenuous times. So it's our job to treat everybody equally. Ensure that you feel inspirited to be patient with others. Respect. And as Toastmasters, I am certain that you will exude those core values, whether you're alone at home and here on the screen, whether it be work or a Toastmaster meeting, that you are acting with respect, integrity, that you're servicing whomever you're speaking with by listening, and of course, helping others be more excellent by yourself, being patient, being kind, and treating everybody else equally. Remember our core values and exude those every day. Back to you, Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thank you so much, Cheryl. So true. So true. Do we have another volunteer at this time? Anya, I saw your hand go up. So you have number 2, number 5, 9, and 10.
I'll take number 9, please.
Number 9, acknowledge contributions of others. Let's acknowledge contributions of others.
Mr. Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guests. Acknowledge others, the contribution of others. I think we do that all the time in Toastmasters. I love being in a warm and comforting and welcoming environment because I know when I give a speech, I'm appreciated by others. They show me their respect and they help me. It's not just being helped by others, but also everybody helps each other. So when we give a speech, we get somebody evaluating us, and that just doesn't help the speaker, but everybody else around. I really, really enjoy that about Toastmasters. And I know when I come to a club and visit another club, they always welcome me, and they always love that when we participate in other clubs and be part of table topics or help out with a role. That's all about Toastmasters. What Toastmasters is all about, helping each other and lifting each other up. So by doing that, we can grow and become better leaders and more confident in all we do. Back to you, Mr. Table Topics Master.
Well, thank you, Anya. Yes, so true. Without everybody contributing, we wouldn't be here today. Everybody's helping out. That's really appreciated.
And I think Bram had his hand up.
Bram. Okay, Bram. Well, it's between number 2, 5, and 10.
You know, Dan, I would choose 100, but you don't have it. So we'll go for 10.
All right. Keep your promises. Keep your promises.
Thank you, Dan. Keep your promises. You know, as leaders, we have goals, we have commitments. We put ourselves out, step forward, stand up, step forward, and say, we will do something. Here's what I will do. Here's my mandate. Here's my goals. As an entrepreneur, as a leader in Toastmasters, outside of Toastmasters, when you have goals and when you're working with people, there are certain commitments, and commitments are promises, of course. When you commit to something, you have to follow through with your commitment. When you're committed to something, it means you are saying, yes, I will do something about whatever I'm needed to do in this position. These are my goals. This is my mandate. This is my own personal growth goals as well while I'm doing what I'm doing. And you grow personally when you follow through with your commitments. It is very easy in today's day to not follow through with your commitments. Very easy. Why? Because we have this thing here and we get caught up in social media and Netflix and all the apps and so on, and we forget what we are called to really do and how to perform. And there's so many distractions in our lives. And we always use the word, I'm busy. And when you're talking through that veil of busyness, how can you reach to others and make sense of what you are committed to doing and your goals and aspirations? Commitment means to really be able to focus, to be very clear on where you want to go and the direction you want to go, the vision that you have. It is all to do with commitment and how you're going to do it, and the strategy, the plan and execution, and using your calendar well to your advantage so that your commitments are met and you're able to deliver. So commitment is very, very important. You have to sort of make sure that you're not overly busy with all these different things and follow through with what you've said you'd do. Commitment is where things happen. That's where you grow. Back to you, Dan.
Thank you so much, Brahm. I appreciate that. It was excellent. Yes, it's so important to keep our promises. All right, we're looking for another volunteer. We have 2 questions left, 2 ideas. Anybody? I'm gonna, Madhukar, thank you very much for volunteering. It's going to be between number 2 and number 5.
This is a table topic master. I'm a balanced person. I'll go at the middle, number 5.
Number 5. Now, this one, I think, is one of the toughest one it's to inspire people, the toughest one. And okay, so number 5, admit your flaws. Although it is important to not flinch when life throws us a curveball, but it's equally important to acknowledge the fact that we are all human beings here, and thus are all inherently flawed. Everyone has at least one glaring weakness or 2. So accept your shortcomings to humanize yourself so people can relate to you on a deeper level. Admit your flaws.
This is table topic master, fellow Toastmaster, and welcome guest. I don't believe that anyone who are sitting in this room does not have any weakness. But the most important thing, how you accept that weakness. My biggest weakness is kindness. Now, most of you will not agree with me that kindness can be a big challenge. Yes, it is. I don't know how many jobs I lost because I was so kind to my employee. I said, never mind. There is another chance. Don't worry. And worst to worst scenario, my own children or my own child who made a big mistake. And I said, don't worry. This is life. Try to improve yourself. So that my kindness every time give me some kind of hurt, but every time give me some kind of strength also, that when I forgive somebody, tomorrow if I need, they will come up and say, Madhukar, your club is not doing well. Okay, your officers are not helping you. But always there will be somebody who will say, don't worry, there is another club, there is another district officers, there is another table topic master who will give you the hardest questions when you raise your hand. Back to you, Mr. Table Topic Master.
Thank you so much, Madhukar. I knew that was a tough one. I tell you. Well, we have one left. And do we have a volunteer for that one that's left of the questions? Anyone? May I ask you, Teresa?
Sure.
All right. It is be enthusiastic. Your experience of being enthusiastic.
Thank you very much, Mr. Table Topics. Enthusiasm is something that you can learn. I definitely forget who said that, but it is something that you can develop. And I have spent most of my career as a teacher developing my enthusiasm. And I believe that Toastmasters did help me get that strength or that desire to be more enthusiastic. When people ask, why do I go to Toastmasters? I say, well, I'm a writer who's not published. But when I go to Toastmasters, I can write and then I can give a speech. I can present a speech. And what I've learned is the more enthusiastic I am while giving that speech, then the more receptive my audience is. The vocal variety really makes a difference when we are speaking. And I've learned that enthusiastic people are always over the top in presenting their feelings. Of course, we all know the person that goes a little bit too far, and sometimes that can be me. And I'm learning to rein that in and be just the person, just enough. I believe the other night someone mentioned about the Three Little Bears and just getting the right amount of, not too hot, not too cold, just right. So thank you very much, Mr. Table Topics, for that question, because I believe enthusiasm can change your life.
Thank you so much, Teresa. I'm inspirited by all the feedback that we've just received today from everyone. It's been wonderful. And what a way to be inspired to be inspired for everyone. It really is the way to go. And I really enjoyed each and every one for the Toastmaster session today. Thank you so much. And now back to you, Toastmaster of the Day, Teresa. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dan, for that thought-provoking and inspiriting table topic session. I don't believe in coincidence. Do you? I believe that every one of our table topic speakers received the topic that demonstrated their personal and professional strengths. So thanks again, Dan, for helping us to be resilient leaders and entrepreneurs. Now I would like to introduce our general evaluator, Lisa, who is going to lead us through the evaluation. So please welcome Lisa Kelso.
Thank you, Teresa. Fellow Toastmasters, we're going to start today with our evaluation of 2 speeches. Our first evaluator is Gitari, and she is going to be evaluating Myrna's speech. Gitari, go ahead.
The doorknob metaphor. Oh my God. That is one of the best metaphors I have come across to address this issue of fear of public speaking. We all have been there. We all have our hands on the doorknobs but we don't open the door. I simply loved it. And the way you used your hand gestures, really put it on the doorknob and your hand coming closer to the camera, it was mind blowing. It was a masterstroke. What I particularly enjoyed in the opening of the speech was your voice was seriously of a person who was scared. It was shaky. However, you managed that shaky voice, it was simply outstanding. On the counts of delivery, content, and vocal variety, I would give you 100 on 100 on the entire doorknob metaphor. When you dived into talking about how Toastmasters was a crucial element for you, really open that door and not just keep your hand on the doorknob, I think a lot of us in this room resonated with that particular experience because Toastmasters really helped a lot of us in that way. What, as an audience, I would have liked to know more about your journey would be what was that moment where you actually conquered your fear? Then when you started talking about the pathways and how everybody has the learning opportunity, it gave me an insight on what I can get once I join Toastmasters. But as an audience, because I'm listening to your story about your fears, I would have also liked to know what path did you choose first? Or how did you plan your journey in the pathways? And how was your experience about it? If those two things, if you would have given us a little more idea about how you used these things for your journey, it would have made the speech more relatable for the audience, because as an audience, I would have known what to expect, or I would have got a kind of a guideline. All in all, I would say this was one inspirited speech wherein if you listen to it, you know what you are getting into when you're coming to Toastmasters. So I would say a perfect speech for the perfect occasion. Thank you so much, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you so much. And now we will go to the evaluator of the next speech. Tony is going to be evaluating Doreen's speech. Tony.
Thank you, GE, fellow Toastmasters, and especially Doreen. Doreen, the first time I saw you was when you were the Lieutenant Governor of Education, addressing the audience at a TLI in a high school gymnasium a long time ago. And over the years, we kind of spoke once in a while, but a couple times during that time period, you sent to me an email out of nowhere. Tony, how are you doing? Yeah, I know personally you are an authentic person. And I'm going to try just as hard to be authentic in return. Your speech, Transformation Through Growth Through Transformation, took us through personal stories of yours from the time you were gripping that lectern in 1995 through some examples of grief, which I'm familiar with a couple of those tragic events, to your personal successes, like you were given that award in Korea for a Woman of the Year, I believe. And of course, the Toastmaster International President Citation. I liked a lot of things about your speech. The vocal variety was excellent. I was really impressed with your pauses. You would end a sentence and I could hear the kerplunk. Then you move to the next. Excellent. I'm trying to be that good. And I'm listening for that. And your personal stories, of course. Everybody loves stories. And you gave us a couple of stories. I have an obligation to you. I have to give you what I authentically believe is a growth issue. You opened powerfully with gripping the lectern, starting us on your voyage. I think I would have liked to have heard, I definitely would have liked to have heard a closing ending the same way. Now you no longer have to grip the lectern because you own the lectern, because belief can conquer grief. And with that, Doreen, you're top of the class. Thank you, GE, and especially thank you, Doreen.
Thank you very much, Tony. And now we're going to move on to our reports for the day. And Cynthia, could you please give us your report as the timer?
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Madam GE. For our speakers today, we had Ram at 4 minutes 57 seconds. Myrna was 5 minutes 29, and Doreen was 6 minutes and 9 seconds. I'll just give the longest and shortest table topics. We had the longest two. There was a tie. Both Ram and Nancy were at 2 minutes 19 seconds, and the shortest was Annie at 1 minute 19. For evaluations, Gayatri 2 minutes 35, and Tony 2 minutes 24 rather. Yes, 2 minutes 24, and we are doing excellently with time. Back to you, Madam GE.
Thank you, Cynthia. And Nancy, to give us her account of how we did as grammarian and an AHA counter.
Thank you very much, Madam General Evaluator. The word of the day was used 14 times, so not quite one per person, but that's okay. We did use it quite a bit, so I'm quite pleased with that. We did have a few fillers, 13 fillers. I think actually that's not bad given the scope of our meeting today and how many of us have been around for a while. So I'm actually kind of impressed that we are not all over the map with our filler words. I do want to mention, though, I was looking for conjunction because I do find that something that I need to work on, and certainly I use the word "and" way too many times to link link my sentences together in table topics, but I was not the only one. I also heard somebody else using the word "and" too often instead of stopping that sentence and then starting a new thought. And was used by myself and one other person, but I also heard and because too many times, and they were used, because was used again as a conjunction, but there was more than one because in a single sentence. To me, that signifies that there should have been a close to that sentence because there was a new thought that was starting. And with the it became, it's great to use that word as a something to stress or emphasize. When it's used too many times, I think it begins to lose some of its impact. So I have kept track of individuals. If you're interested, I can send you a private message. However, I think overall we were fine in how we use the word of the day and our fillers. Back to you.
Thank you very much for your report, Nancy. And now I'll give a very quick report as to how the meeting went. Congratulations, Anya, for starting this amazing club. What a way to start a Thursday. I know the rest of the day is going to be inspiring because of this amazing group of individuals. I felt that it was started beautifully. It won't take too much time. It flowed as it should have. I gotta say a couple of little points here and there. Dan, when you showed the picture between the two boats, I was wowed, but then you took it from just the size of the two boats, the comparison, you took it as what we could accomplish. And that kept the theme of being inspiring. Your questions drew each individual to be focused on, and that kept us inspired and with the theme the whole time. That was fantastic. The speeches, thank you. Very quickly, Brahm, I love the fact that you used your background to articulate your thoughts and ideas into a message that makes an impact. Doreen, you had me I had a few tears there. Your story was so uplifting. It was fantastic. And my last, Myrna, your vocal variety just pulled me in and then kept me there. One of the best examples, I think, of using vocal variety. I think everyone did such a great job. I am very inspired, and I can only wish Anya and the group that joins Anya on her journey for this new club the best. You don't need the good luck. I can't wait to see it grow and bloom and do fantastic things. Thank you. Back to you, Teresa.
Thank you very much, Lisa. And I have to concur with your findings